our project's going to streamline the museum operations by providing better workflow, ease of use. Because the new system's more user-friendly, there'll be more buy-in. We can train interns to work on the database. And it's also going to increase the collection access to the collections because archives is going to have a searchable database. It's also going to have a single online portal instead of two, so folks can search both the archives and the object collection simultaneously, which is going to benefit researchers and staff. It's also going to meet state accessibility requirements, which is exciting. And then also just having archives and objects in the same database is going to enhance curation capabilities. When building an exhibition, curators can search across collections. They can make a more in-depth story for the public.
One of the biggest accomplishments I'd have to say is that just the stakeholder and collaboration we've been able to accomplish not only within the state with our privacy officer, with the Attorney General's office, but also with the providers across the state. They've really contributed and been engaged in every step of the process and have given us their problem, which is really managing a consent currently is a very manual and paper-based process. And right now, a lot of times you'll do a paper-based consent, you'll scan it as a flat image, upload it into the EHR electronic health record system, and then having visibility in that consent after that is a very complex process because most EHRs don't provide an easy way to kind of find those. They just kind of thrown into a folder with everything else. So this system will really give providers a centralized system to see their consents.
So a lot of our permits still require the public to fill out a paper form and mail it in, which causes some loss of documents, data loss, delay in processing, and it's really impossible to track some of those paper processes, and it doesn't allow for transparency for the public to see where they're at in the process either. We also have some outdated legacy systems that the permits are using, which is a data risk, as well as don't exactly have a lot of the modern features and capabilities that some of the newer systems have. Next slide, please. So when we were doing some research, we did find that the Amanda platform built by Granicus did meet a lot of our requirements. And on top of that, they've already been used by many different government agencies, both city and state, for permitting, licensing, and some compliance.
The Water Resource Program receives approximately 500 water right applications every single year, and it is totally a paper-based process, not only for the applications, but for the fees as well. This is inefficient. It's a poor customer experience. And we're not in compliance with the state law that says accept forms, documents, and fees electronically. Next slide, please. So we were approved for a grant of $152,700. The state's IT investment board voted to approve the project. So we receive 500 water right applications a year. The absolute minimum cost savings is going to be 1 hour per application.
We have a specialized database. It's called MIMSI that we've been using since 2007. Before that, it was an MS Access database, and we use it to track over 6,000 artworks, 7,000 artists and sites. We have more than 200,000 images and also documents. Unfortunately, our MIMSI database has reached the end of its life and it won't be supported as of 2026. So we're moving to the same vendor's new system, which is Axial Collections. Axial Collections is an SQL database as opposed to the Oracle one we have now. It's browser-based, web-based, so it will improve access for us and speed also for our remote staff. We have field workers who go out to artworks across the state. And the new system has a lot more API capabilities, which means we can more easily share our data onto our website, My Public Art Portal.
The problem the State Patrol faced is we have over 45 applications that were developed using the BMC Remedy platform. We had reached a stage with that platform where we either had to make a significant investment to come to the most current version or migrate to a different solution. So we were starting to assess low-code application development tools. At the same time, we were looking at replacing our Ivanti Heat ITSM product. And so we wound up going with the ServiceNow ITSM solution for our ticketing. And we decided to leverage that platform for our low-code application development as well.
At the heart of this project, it's truly about language access and how English should not be the door or the barrier to reaching services. When we need interpreters for virtual meetings, we've often needed 48 hours or more to find an interpreter, and sometimes it's even a challenge to find someone who's able to interpret a language from Micronesia or a less common language. So we began doing research and came across some off-the-shelf solutions that had not only human interpretation, but also AI interpretation available as a plugin to bolster Microsoft Teams meetings. And since we started the project, we've honed in on Kudo as the best solution that meets most of our needs. So although there's no one-size-fits-all solution, this graphic illustrates how Kudo is going to help us with many of our challenges. So for example, we'll continue our best practices of using DSHS-wide contracted human interpreters, but Kudo allows us to widen the pool of interpreters with 12 hours or less notice for even difficult to find languages.
Yeah, so just to cut to the core with the business problem, really the long and the short of it is that our legacy technologies and processes don't allow the flow of information fast enough. In fact, one of our specialist teams has really needed to lean on field support because their capacity is becoming lower and lower as our administration continues to grow and grow, and our onboarding needs continue to grow and grow. So the solution that we came up with is having an AI chatbot. Well, I'm sure most of you are familiar with interacting with AI chatbots in your personal lives. The idea is to have a solid, reliable source knowledge base that can be deployed using AI so that case management staff, field staff can ask the chatbot questions and receive automated, accurate responses and reduce the time that the staff are waiting for responses, and also increase the time that our specialist teams are able to provide field services staff on more nuanced supports as well as training.
So far today, we've developed an MS Azure chatbot proof of concept in-house that is being scaled up as we talk. The technology is changing like daily, like even their terms and names for the different services change. So it's a wild ride. We did decide not to put all our ducks in one basket. Is it ducks or it's eggs? I think it's eggs. But anyway, approval for a second proof of concept was given where we will try out a vendor hosted solution.